Hey, want to know the top 3 unforeseen home ownership costs that nobody tells you? Good, stick around because I'm going to take you through it. And not only am I going to take you through, I'm going to go through in such detail that you will be fully financially prepared so you can avoid the stress and headaches that some of my buyers have gone through and myself as well when I bought my first house. Hey everybody, my name is Leanna Martins and I am a local Edmonton real estate agent. Love that you have come. If you're new, welcome. If you're coming back, I love having you as my audience. And let's get into the first of the 3 biggest unforeseen home ownership costs. So when you buy a home, expenses can be broken down into 3 categories I have found. 1 is unforeseen emergencies, 2, annual and monthly maintenance, and 3, furniture and upgrades when you first purchase. So we're going to start with number 1, which is unforeseen expenses and emergencies because they're going to happen. Appliance repair or replacement. So some of the problems that might show up for you: appliances are leaking, they're not cleaning your clothing or your dishes well, they run loudly, your water dispenser in your fridge is broken, the freezer's not working, are just a few. Appliance repair costs average anywhere from $75 to $125 an hour, and replacement for mid-range appliances, let's say a fridge, $1,000 to $1,500, a stove, $800 to $1,200, dishwasher, $800 to $1,500, washer dryer combo, $1,500 to $2,500. Then you've got your plumbing, your furnace, and your HVAC. So problems with those would be cold areas in the house, maybe low water pressure. You can get little black bits in your water sometimes, clogged toilets, clogged sinks. So the average rate, pardon me, for a service call is $120 to $175 an hour for HVAC and plumbers. Hey, if you're getting value, subscribe now and let's get back to the video. So the number 2 unforeseen expense is monthly and annual maintenance. Now, the rule of thumb to prepare you best is I want you to put aside 1 to 2% of the actual purchase price of the home. So I've done this in other videos. So let's say that your purchase price is $450,000. You take 1% of that. That's roughly $450 a month. So I want to make sure that you think about that now because you need to make sure that you have that money set aside. So some of that cost would be things like this. So landscaping. When you rent, you don't have landscaping tools. So you're going to need to buy tools if you've got a yard. So you are going to have a budget for that, and tools, things like a rake, a lawnmower, hedge trimmers. Estimated cost for you is going to be around $300 or less. Then think you might want to do a little beautifying. Maybe you get some mulch, maybe you get some shrubs, some trees, even just some annual potted plants, grass seed, for example. That altogether could be an average of $300 to $500. Then you've got things like HOA fees. So HOA fees are going to come into play. It's called Home Ownership Association fees. And you'll find those a lot more in the newer communities in Edmonton. So those are going to be communities that are outside of the Anthony Henday. But bonus is they only come up annually. So that's not a monthly cost. But if you were to buy something that had shared ownership like a condominium, that could be a townhouse, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be a walk up or apartment style condo. If you have that, that is a monthly maintenance. And your monthly maintenance, depending on where you are, is anywhere at a very low $250, which is extremely low, all the way up to like $900 in some cases. So what your condo fees cover, sometimes they cover a portion of utilities. So it might cover heat and water, and then you pay for power on your own. And then it covers like shared common areas. It'll cover snow removal. It will cover cleaning, insurance, and things like that. But those monthly costs can be substantial depending on where you live. Then a big one, friends, is utilities. Oh my God, utilities have substantially increased in Alberta in the last 3 years. Like crazy. It actually pisses me off a little bit. So the larger the square footage of your home, the more it's going to cost you. So to heat and have water and natural gas for an average 1,200 square foot home, budget an average of $550 a month, and that is not including your cable. So this will have you handling, I think, the highs in the winter months and the lows in the summer months and have enough money. Another thing that very few people think about is pest control, friends. So when you move into your home, it's very common to, like, everybody at some point has a mouse come in or might have, a season of mice problems or hornets or something. You need to make sure that you budget for that kind of thing. So the costs for, let's say, an exterminator are, for a typical service call for an exterminator is $120 and up. I was quoted a $600 for the full package, which I didn't go for because that was a bit crazy. But let's just say an average service call is going to be $120. I would budget to about $250. And then you've got, your do-it-yourself, which you could just do traps, you could do poison, you could do things like that. And that's going to cost you anywhere between between $60 and $120. And there's no guarantee that you'll do it and get all the spots and the foam and all the crevices that the mice are coming in. So it might take you a few times of problem solving and research in order to solve that problem. So there's another cost you never thought of. Okay, now the last one of this category of monthly and annual maintenance is your property taxes. So I want you to budget anywhere from $350 to $550 a month, depending on the purchase price of your home and also where it's located, because that affects how much your taxes are going to be. And there's two different ways that you can arrange to pay it. One, you can sign up with your bank and they will automatically take it out. Or two, in Edmonton, there's something called the MPP, which is the monthly payment plan. And you can then sign up and they will automatically debit on a monthly basis. This is the City of Edmonton out of your account. So if you go below, I have the link for the MPP program for you to sign up for that, just to make it easy. So it's all taken care of. I would highly advise that, because I didn't do that. And having, a $5,000 or $6,000 bill that hits you, boom, at the same time as all your other taxes can be quite substantial. So I wouldn't suggest that. Now, the third unforeseen cost for home buyers that they really don't take into account because they just don't even know what to anticipate is number 3, basic upgrades. So what would be considered basic upgrades? Let's say that you want to paint 3 rooms, right? So you buy a mid-range paint that might cost you around $40 and you use 2 gallons a room and you do 3 rooms. That's $240 right there. Next is really common is area rugs. So let's say that you got 2 area rugs at $700 each. That is $1,400. Then a really common one for my clients is floor mats, because depending on where they're moving from, it's going to be smaller. They just don't have as many doors and the need for as many floor mats. So for example, you go from 1 bathroom to 3 bathrooms. You need floor mats for 3 bathrooms. You go from 1 entry into a home into 2 or 3 different entry points. Could be the garage, front and back door, and each one of those need floor mats. So you add that on top of those big area rugs, your floor mats are another $150. Then really common is what you had for your furniture was just too small. So you end up having to buy larger furniture that fits the space that you've got. So when you're looking at things like furniture, those are larger investments that cost you a lot more money. So let's say a decent price for a good sofa could be $1,700. And then let's say that you bought a house that you were everything was great. The space was amazing. It had the rooms you wanted, an amazing community, but you're like, these countertops are too dated. So you're like, okay, this is just the last thing. We'll throw in some new countertops. So how much do you think countertops cost? So you like the kitchen, but it was just the bathroom. So they were $630 each. So that ends up bringing you to about $1,300-ish on top of all the other costs. So when you start to look at the costs of just upgrading into that next stage of life, it ends up being a lot more than you think. So let's add up the totals for this. So with all 3 of those, it really is best to have a move-in budget of a minimum of $4,000 is what I would say. And for monthly maintenance, I really want to encourage you to have at least $400 a month. Now, if you roll your taxes into your mortgage payment and still put aside the half of that, let's say $450 a month, into something like an emergency home account, then you're going to be completely prepared. You're going to be super secure for when, not if, but when something breaks down and you need to fix it, repair it. Because I'll tell you this right now, having your furnace break down in the middle of an Edmonton winter is brutal. It's the last thing that you're going to want, and it's just so much stress. And you want to make sure that you have got the money set aside to make sure that you can take care of anything that comes your way so you can meet it with strength, confidence, and ease. So thank you so much for sticking around. I really hope that video was super useful for you. If you might be considering a move in Edmonton or a move to Edmonton, you got to reach out to me and my people, because we take the stress out and we make it easy, friends. Comment below if you know anybody who had a rude awakening of buyer expenses when they purchased their home that they had no idea about, that you'd like to share with our audience. Put those comments below and I'll see you in Message from Santa.
Merry Christmas, and to all a good night.
Well, I'll see you in the next video.